Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of What Gear to Buy for New Players. So today we're gonna be focusing on a wizard. As you can see, I brought him to level 200, equipped with a full starter set just like the Blader, and we can immediately notice that wizard actually has 3 more thousand combat power than the Blader. And this is very true because wizard is very powerful class early on. And we need to build wizard a lot differently than the Blader, so it's gonna be exciting to see, with the same budget of 200 million, how well I can do. Alrighty, so let's waste no time. Now the very first thing is the Apaulet. Always get the Apaulet first. We'll go for Paladinium, Apaulet of Sage. Now Wizard is the squishiest class in the whole game. And you might be tempted to even go for Apaulet of Guardian, but don't. Apaulet of Sage is still much better choice. So that's only 6.5 million, let's take that. Now another thing I want to buy immediately on the wizard is a good bike. And instead of a blue bike, I'm actually gonna go for RV3 plus 15 bike. So I know it's gonna be, ooh, look at this, even plus 16 I could buy, 67 million. I mean, it's quite expensive, yeah, but look at this, this is extra 227 defense. And as a wizard, I'm gonna need it, trust me. And the thing is, like, all of this set is gonna be exchanged at some point, but the bike is gonna be exchanged much further on into the game. So I actually don't mind spending a little bit more of my budget on the bike. So 67.5, let's go. Look at this, brilliant. Let's equip those. Look at this, already 324,000 combat power, that's a lot. For the most part, I think like the accessories are okay. We'll only touch accessories after we finish with our starter set. And you're gonna see a guide on accessories as well. But now let's focus on the most important stuff. And that is the orbs. So for orbs, I probably would like to go for Paladinium. I mean, maybe even Demonite, but Demonite is so expensive to level up. So I think Paladinium is where we are at for the very first set. Let me just scope out if there's any miracles. 45 million already slotted, or 50 million for plus 15 already. As you know, like, I love to buy my weapons already like plus 15 or plus 16, and for the armor I can focus on later on. Now wizard does need orbs, and especially in the beginning, orbs is gonna be so much better. The only reason I would choose crystal over orbs, just in this very first gear change, is if I find like a plus 15 crystal for like crazy good value. And to be fair, we can check if that's the case. I really don't think so. Now look at this, plus 16 for 30 million. I mean, that is cheap. We save, what, like 40% of our budget? Well, basically to go pay 30 million instead of like 50. You would lose a little bit of magic attack, but for the very first set it doesn't really matter that much. Nor preferably you would like to get the orbs. Just because this one is so much cheaper, and this one is actually plus 16, right, instead of plus 15. So you can also think about it like this, like if you find like plus 17 Paladinium Crystal for 30 million, it might be better than plus 15 Paladinium Orb for like 50 million, you know what I mean? Because the first gear exchange is basically all about the budget and knowing what to focus on first. And later in the series, you're gonna find episodes where we focus on accessories. I think we're only gonna make one mega accessory guide, because accessories are almost the same for every class. There's a few changes, but you know, that we can do in one video. But yeah, I'm looking at this and I'm actually liking it very much. Let's take a look at the orbs one more time. Yeah, plus 15 for 50 million. I usually prefer to have all of my critical rates in my helmet, and then all of my critical damage in the orbs. Let's check a Demonite orb. Maybe we'll find one with like plus 10 for really cheap. Again, you can always expect miracles, you know, it doesn't mean that they're gonna happen, but at least you can expect them. Nope, nothing. Let's shoot for even bigger miracles and check for Dragonium. I mean, you never know. Plus 9 for 120 mil, okay. Yeah, so some people might laugh for what I'm gonna do, buying a Paladinium Crystal on a wizard. But then again, you know, we need to think a little bit further outside the box and actually what we're doing. Even though the orb would be better, in the current market for the current price, this is actually a much better value proposition given our budget as well. So I'm gonna take this one for 30 mil. And you have to keep in mind that it's gonna cost you to slot it as well. Rate ones here. I mean, maybe plus 50. Ideally, we would find something with 18 critical damage instead of 16. I mean, this one. But this one is plus 0. If this was plus 15, I would have taken it. Yeah, I think this is what we need. To be fair, man, I'm already fearing that I might be over budget. But then again, this is the most important stuff, because a Powlet is super cheap and gives amp. Here we get so much defense, and as a wizard, like, you really need it. And the only thing left that's really needed for us is the orbs and crystals. Let's see how much it would cost for an empty one. Well, the one that's not plus 15. Sure, it's critical damage. I mean, to be fair, for the first set, I could even go for critical rate, since critical rate ones are so much cheaper. And look at this, I actually saw plus 9 critical rate for 10 million. Okay, maybe let me just quickly check the gear as well and see how much should I spend on these 4 pieces as a wizard. So we'll go with Paladinium Wizard. Ooh, this is gonna be cheap and good. I wanna see how much Masters would cost. Look at this, this is not a bad deal. Plus 4, all skill amp 8 for 9 million. And plus 15 ones already go for 65. Master Paladinium is expensive. Another thing you could check is Master Archidinum. That would be even better, to be fair. I would prefer that way more. Oh, look at this, 20 million only. Now I know that this oh my days, it looks like a good deal. I mean, and maybe for the very first set, only for 15 million, maybe it is. Because to be fair, here we would spend extra 14 million to add a max crit rate slot. But this is ultimately still better. The only thing I'm fearing, and this is a big difference from the Blader that you guys need to keep in mind. Let's take a look at the option scrolls. So if we go for armor, and look at this, sword skill amp for highest grade, it only cost 15 million. But when we talk about magic skill amp, as you can see, the price changes dramatically. So I want to avoid actually buying this, and I'm actually gonna think about this when I'm building my first set. So I could either build a Paladinium suit, or since I have such a good deal here, only for 15 million, and I get 15 amp, and then we would buy some upgrade core highest and try to give it to at least plus 15 or, well, plus 13. But ideally you want to go to plus 15, and ideally you would find Paladinium instead of Archidinum. But then again, it's always about the market, and it's always about the budget. Because here I don't want to spend another 50 million just for a slot to put in another magic skill amp. You know what I'm saying? That's why that Archidinum piece is actually a really good one. Yeah, because look at this. We're definitely gonna go for Archidinum. And I know like a lot of veterans, they have it stuck to their head that they always have to buy like master suits and what's not. When really as a beginner, this is what you have to think about. You know, how much do I want to spend for this set? Because the next set after this one is potentially gonna be like in hundreds of millions to billions. But still, this set is gonna take you a long way. Because I think if we manage to spend like 200 million on our starter orbs and armor, then we'll spend, I think, another like 500 million on accessories, and then we're gonna be set, trust me, for the most of the game. After that, once it comes the time to change our gear even further, we're probably gonna go for Sigmetal. And once you're buying 3 slot Sigmetal, I would say you're no longer going in the early game. You're going from mid to late game, as Sigmetal can last you up until late game. So yeah, I'm gonna pick this suit right here. That's a bargain in my opinion. Now let's check for gloves. Again, ideally you would like masters, but you know, it's all about the budget. Like Master Paladiniums would be the biggest glory for suits and gloves, but it's very not likely that you're gonna find it. And since magic class amp scroll is so expensive, I want to find gear that already has some magic amp. I don't want to be putting it myself. Okay, so the closest thing I can find is this one for 100 mil. I mean, it is craftsman's. It's fairly decent, but that's over my budget. And I think for your first sets, maybe that's over your budget as well. Let's check the Archidinums. Because to be fair, like the dungeons that we're gonna farm, we're not gonna need that much defense. Just because we snagged this bike, I think we can afford to go Archidinums on our armor pieces rather than Paladiniums. This would be nice, but 200 mil, no freaking way. 50 mil. Oh, look at this, Masters is actually really cheap. There's nothing slotted. I think I would actually just go for the Master Archidonum Hands Wizard. And then for this one, maybe, okay, pay the 50 million, slot it yourself. It's gonna be extremely expensive, but I don't know, I think it's worth it. Like 15 millions for Master Archidonum Hands, that's a bargain right there. Another bargain would be this one. But then again, if you choose this one over this one, you're missing on 10 max crit rate, which I think you should never do. This one is like ultimately so much better. Yeah, so I think I'm actually gonna go with Master Hands. And this one I will slot Magic Skill Amp. I would just farm a little bit more and do it. And all of your gear still must have... You have to bring your gear to plus 15 as well. Okay, so now let's go with the boots. I will start with the Paladiniums. Maybe we'll find something good. Again, preferably with something that already... Ooh, look at this. Wow, 70 million. Paladinium Shoes Wizard plus 12. It's actually a little bit over budget, but it has both of the magic slots already in. I think as a beginner, you're not gonna find anything better. Because that's the thing, right? There's no consistent way to build it. You just kind of go and see what the market has, and you try to, you know, make the best of it. That's why this series is so fun, where I just take 200 mil. I went 3 million over budget with the Blader, and it looks like I'm gonna go 4 million over budget, but this is like so good. Seems like I went crazy over budget, to be fair, but man, if you see this, yeah, I definitely get it. There's no if, buts, and maybes. That's an absolute value right here. Just to slot it, it would cost over 100 million. And you have everything here done for like plus 12 or 70. Okay, let's take the 4 extra million. There we go, and we're gonna buy this one. So now we have boots, gloves, suits, 1 orb. We're still missing another orb and a helmet. As you can see, I already used all of my budget. So I'm just gonna show you what I would buy, because you can always just go and farm a little bit more. Alright, so this orb is full of critical damage with the epic option. We'll see. If I can find a good deal on a helmet, I will buy it and slot it. If not, I might actually just keep this helmet. So let us see if it's worth it for us to buy a new helmet. We'll check from... Well, let's actually start on Paladiniums. So we would need a crit rate epic option, and for as cheap as possible. Okay, there we go. 20 million. That's a little bit expensive, to be fair, right? But this could be the next step. You buy this one for 20 million, and then you buy 2 critical rate slots and slot them in. Either that or keep this one for right now. Not seeing any like huge bargains. I mean, this one is actually much better. Look at this. I would definitely buy this one, because this one has max epic option. It gives you 10 critical rate for 25 mil. Yeah, if I could go over budget, I would go another 25 million over budget and buy this helmet. Then I would go even more over budget and slotting it all with critical rates. And then for my next orb or crystal, I would focus on critical damage. So yeah, definitely buy this one, 25 mil. And let's go for another Paladinium orb. Let's see if we can find a good deal. We want 2 slots, critical damage. There we go, the cheapest one is 13 million. Fair, by looking at everything here, I think that's the best shot. Yeah, I would actually buy this one for 13 million, and I would plus 15 it and slot both of the slots, which is the full amount, well, with crit damage. And the full amount for everything, I think it would cost you like 60 million, something like that. You can always check, like, look at this, there's 50 million, but then you would still need to slot it yourself, so it would be kind of similar. We found a plus 16 for 50 million as well. Yeah, so I would either buy it for 13 million and try to plus 15 myself, or just buy this one, plus 16, 50 million, and then just slot in the slots with critical damage. Okay, then we would need to equip all of the orbs. And I can see that I made a huge miscalculation with my wizard, like try to avoid this mistake. As you can see, I put all of my points into intelligence before actually buying my gear. So the very first thing you should do is make sure that you have enough points to equip your Paladinium weapons. This one is plus 16, and as you can see, I'm missing 100 strength and over 130 of dexterity. So now to save this character, I actually need to buy over 200 potions, extract potions of intelligence. And this is what I'm talking about, 200 of these. And as you can see, it's already gonna cost me like quite a hefty sum. Pretty much over 200 million. So this mistake that I've did on this character, it's a 200 million mistake. Now, just saving my resources, I don't wanna obviously, just do it. But there you go. I hope you enjoyed the bargain hunting episodes. I think if we were to equip, if I didn't make the mistake and I could equip all of this, it would be much stronger than the blader that we bought the last episode. Because the key difference is, we did spend a lot on the bike, but I think it was well worth it. I would, if I was a wizard, I would farm up a further like 100 million to buy the second orb, to buy that extremely good helmet, Paladinium, for 25 million. That's gonna give us 10 critical rate and slot the rest yourself. Yeah, and after that I would just do more farming and then check my guides on upgrading your items to plus 15 or even plus 17, and check another guide, which is gonna be a master guide for accessories for all of the classes and effectors included. I hope now you have a little bit a better understanding of your first set should be and how much should you roughly even spend on your first set. I think anywhere from like 200 to 350 million just for your orbs and armor is a good place, right? At worst case scenario of I try to not overdo like 500 million. Anything more than that on your starter set, it's a little bit wasteful in my opinion, because we're still gonna need like at least 500 million, if not more, for our accessories. So we have to plan accordingly. So yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed, I hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.